I want to bring in now retired Army Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg. General Kellogg, first let's start with the F-16s. Is it a sign of progress or is it a sign of desperation? This change in approach.
Well, first of all, Charles, thanks for having me. It's not a sign of desperation. What it is, and Senator Graham said it right, the fact that we're now providing F-16s, it's a little bit late, or training for F-16s. In the United States, President Biden has been the one dragging his feet. He was dragging his feet on the ATACMS missile system, so the Brits provided their system. He was slow bringing the M1A1 Abrams tank into the fight, where the Brits brought the Challenger and the Germans brought the Leopard in. And now he's looking with the F-16. And it's not going to really affect the fight in the near term. Senator Graham made the comment, well, it takes normally a year to train these pilots. Just to cut that in 2/3, that's still 4 months. So they're not going to be available for the offensive that is going to come within a short period of time for the Ukrainians when they go against the Russians. If we had done this a bit ago, let's say 6 months to a year ago, those aircraft would have been available for ground air support. They would have been available for interdiction of aircraft, Russian aircraft as well, and we're just slow to it. And I think this is going to be a big fight coming up in the very near term, because I think the Russians have culminated up near Bakhmut. They've lost that fight, it looks like, and now it's up to the Ukrainians to conduct their counteroffensive, and I think they've got the advantage. And if they can beat the Russian army in the field, which I think that's probable, and if they take the attack line that I hope they attack, which is from Kherson to the Sea of Azov, it can bring the Russian army to its knees, and I think because of that, Putin falls. So it's a good news and bad news story. I'm glad we're finally giving them the training and the equipment to do it, but it's not in time when they really need it for their offensive.
So, General, we've been hearing about this counteroffensive, though, for a long time. It feels like it's been delayed. In the meantime, we keep hearing about these successes. Now they're shooting down these hypersonic missiles that, you know, the media made these hypersonic missiles a year or two ago sound like they were, they can launch them from Moscow and hit any target in America, and we were defenseless. So the sort of image, this amazing image of the Russian army, it seems at the very least to be completely gone at this point. What does Russia do knowing that this counteroffensive is coming?
Well, Russia's got a real problem. You look, they're bringing T-55 tanks out of the surplus. That thing is a 75-year-old tank. Their main units have been really beaten very badly. They've probably lost in the range of 200,000 soldiers killed. The Ukrainians lost about 100,000 soldiers killed. So they're on their back foot. This is a chance for, I think, in the next 30 to 60 days, you'll see this major offensive kick off. It'll be a major fight. Remember, this is the largest land war we've seen in Europe since World War II. But I think the Russians have got a real problem now and trying to defend. And if they can pull this off, the Ukrainians, I think this means Putin's got a real problem politically, because he cannot afford to lose the Russian army in the field. And I think this is a chance. Now, they've got one shot, Charles. What I mean by one shot is if the Ukrainians do not win this fight this year, then I think there's some options they're going to have to look at, which means negotiations.
All right. By the way, real quick, if you can, the Wagner Group at one point was willing to exchange information with Ukraine. You just talked about the political damage in Russia of Vladimir Putin. I mean, could something like that even be possible?
Yeah, I think Prigozhin, who's the leader of the Wagner Group's got a real problem right now. His forces have been really badly beaten up near Bakhmut, and he's used actually convicts as part of his force structure. I think he's got a problem. I think he's developing some real enemies in the Kremlin, and if I was him, I'd watch my back real close right now.
Boy, it sounds like a mess for sure. General, we always appreciate you guiding us through this and being a great straight shooter with us on this. All right, folks, next week, kicking off